Hi guys, welcome back to Coach Chioma. I wanted to share and talk about vulnerability and this thing I keep hearing about vulnerability being a weakness and how I think a lot of our relationships are just not able to get as deep as they can go because of our lack of vulnerability. So people say vulnerability is weakness, and I don't know why they say that. I know that they feel like when you're vulnerable, you're showing a part of you that probably isn't able to cope or isn't able to deal with certain things. And that for some reason, the expectation is that as people, we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be able to handle things. Or as Christians, we have the power of God in us. So no matter what happens, we're going to be, we're going to be strong and we're going to get through whatever it is. So we're getting through. And we have to get through it with a tough skin and a strong mind. We need to remember that we're still people. We literally are still human beings. And I don't know about you, but with me, if all I get to see in our relationship is when we are at the climax of life and the summit of happiness and joy and thriving, but I don't get to see you or you don't get to see me when I'm at my deepest, lowest valley, then I don't know if that's truly a friendship. I don't know if you really truly get to know me, because you've never gotten to experience me in my lows. And we all have highs and lows. I have gone through a lot of trauma in my life. I mean, a ton of trauma in my life. And I'm sure a lot of people have. I don't think anyone is actually free from trauma. But I know that there are some people that have gone through a lot more trauma than others. And so the impact of that on some of us is a lot long lasting and much deeper. But the one thing I can tell you is that in the past, whenever I would go through something and not share, I didn't realize that I was hurting myself more. In the moment, it felt like I was okay, but that was simply because I was dissociating from myself. The pain that I was feeling inside, not being able to share that with someone, made me actually isolate myself. And by isolating myself, it actually caused the sense of shame that I felt towards myself to get worse. Actually allowed it to bury much deeper into my soul and grow roots that was now spreading into every other area of my life. And so without knowing, I would be faced with situations in other aspects of my life that wasn't a personal situation, and my behavior would still mimic the same behaviors that I would exhibit when I was in a regular relationship. Being in a relationship with someone for 5 years, and this is when I was like 19, 20, from 20 to 25, with someone who was abusive, physically, emotionally, verbally. At the time, no one really knew what I was going through. And when I say no one, I mean like my closest family. Outsiders knew, but a lot of people didn't talk to me about it. They didn't come to me to say, hey, listen, we know that this is what's happening, you need to get out. And the one or two people that did say something in the beginning, I was so defensive, so ashamed that I couldn't actually face the music of the life that I had actually chosen to live, because it was so difficult for me at the time to take responsibility that I actually was saying yes to that type of abuse. I was actually saying yes to that type of mistreatment. And I think that's what happens. When you isolate yourself, you literally begin to become more ashamed, not just of yourself, but of what you are allowing and of what you're in, and also of how people will view you when they get to know the truth. If I can help anyone today in this video, it'll be to tell you that that is one of the biggest lies that the devil has really found. He has mastered that to the T. He has mastered what it is to have us believe his lie and then have us actually build our own prisons that we walk into and we lock ourselves in, having access to the key but not even realizing One, that we were in prison, but two, that we had the access to the key to get us out. He has mastered the art of isolation due to shame. So I want you to know there is nothing for you to be ashamed of. You've made a mistake. You've allowed certain things to happen to you in your life. You've permitted certain things because you didn't have any boundaries. So many things that you didn't know that you needed because you probably weren't taught that. You should not be ashamed. If anything, simply see things as they are. Listen to wise counsel from people who absolutely love you. No matter how hard it is for you to hear it, trust that they love you enough that they will not be telling you things that will send you into a situation that will hurt you. But if anything, that they're seeing things clear enough to where they're helping and trying to help guide you outside of that space. Shame is a prison. And when you allow shame to breed, to stay for so long, it can take sometimes a lifetime to uproot all the areas that it has spread into your life. You have to take your pain, your shame, all the things that you've done and permitted that you know were not good for you, and you have to bring it to the light. There's a Bible verse that says people who do good things, they come towards the light. They come to the light. And my belief is that the light is Jesus, the Word of God, and it illuminates every area of your life that needs healing. But it has to come from a place where you are willing. God needs your permission. He really does, because He gave you free will to choose. So you can either choose life or you can choose death. And I don't want anyone to make you believe that vulnerability is weakness. It is not. Because it's in and through vulnerability that you actually receive healing. It's through vulnerability that you actually begin to commune with other people. It's through vulnerability that you're no longer living in a silo. When you allow yourself to open up all the dark areas of your life and you share with someone that you love and you trust, you unburden yourself of that load. It lightens the weight. And the more you share, the lighter the weight gets. The more vulnerable you are in front of God, He's able to get into your life and heal the parts of you that needs healing. The more vulnerable you are, the softer your heart actually gets. When you choose pride and choose to isolate, what you're doing is you're actually hardening your heart. And by hardening your heart, I mean that you're doing everything that you can in your power to self-protect, to protect yourself from more pain. But by doing that, you're also putting a barrier from receiving love. So don't believe that somehow the only person that you are that is able and willing and permitted to show up in this life is the you that is thriving, or the you that everything's going well with, or the you that things are happening for. All parts of you are welcome. All parts of you are welcome to be seen and to be loved and to be cherished. Do not isolate yourself. When you isolate yourself, you are killing yourself slowly. But when you move into the light, when you move into community and communication and relationships with people, when you're going through a very tough time, like I said, you begin to heal. You can talk to my sisters. I, again, was one who never shared. Now, my goodness, I am an open book. And when anyone comes to me to tell me, you're not supposed to talk about that, you're not supposed to, I do not believe that. I am no longer someone who believes that value anymore, because I have found immense healing in my ability to be open. And my ability to be open to people also helped me in my ability to be open to God Himself. And it was only when I did that that I actually truly experienced Christ alive in my heart, in my life. So that's really what I wanted to share. It's 10 minutes already. It's just that there is a power in vulnerability. Huge, immense power in vulnerability. One, it helps to promote deeper relationships between yourself and yourself and other people, and yourself and God. Vulnerability promotes healing. It does. Because by being vulnerable, you are actually ripping the band-aid of darkness. You're ripping the bandage of darkness that's covering all those parts of you that you are not happy with, you're disappointed about, you have shame over. You're ripping all of that out and lifting that up into the light for God to heal you. So yeah, don't trust the hype. Don't trust the hype. If you have a friend, even if it's one friend that you know, that you love and you trust, pick up the phone. No matter how scary you feel, no matter how fearful it might be, pick up the phone and call them. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.